Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmic. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here. I do want to give a quick shout out and just say thank you so much to everyone here. Thank you for your donations, for the likes, the shares, the comments, the subscribes. I really do appreciate it. It absolutely helps out the channel. And I am just so honored to be able to help you on your journey. And thank you for your support on mine. So I just want to give a little quick shout out before we get into it. This is actually going to be a divine masculine, divine feminine reading today. I'm picking up that energy again. There's some messages that really want to come through for the collective. This is going to be what I'm picking up just right off top when I tap into this energy is this is going to be for a collective who is in a separation. You've most likely already met this person. For a lot of you, you've already been in some sort of relationship. I heard entanglement with this person. So it's going to be more of a specific reading today. As that, as always, use your discernment, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That's just what I'm really picking up. That's kind of the dominant energy that's coming through right now, but I'm sure other masculine, feminine energies is going to come through as well. So I'll make sure to specify when I pick that up. But right now, this is definitely the dominant energy coming through that really wants to be talked about is for a masculine, feminine who are in separation, basically. So this could be I don't want to label it. Okay. I just heard not to label it. So I'm going to leave it open. Masculine, feminine. We're just going to leave it at that. With that as well, for some of you, you may, okay, I'm already picking up on different threads. For some of you, you may not have met this person in the physical yet, but the separation feeling that you're picking up is because you've been together in other lifetimes and other incarnations, and you're getting ready to come back together now. Whether that's going to be romantic or not, that's, totally up to you and the other person and free will and all of that. Just for some of you, though, it is you haven't met this person yet. There is a dominant energy of that is coming through that we're going to talk about and we're going to dive into in just a minute about the situation where you've already met in this incarnation. So there already is multiple threads of energy coming through. So bear with me. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this together. All right, so now I'm gonna take a full step aside to let spirit pass through. And we're gonna get into it. I think I already said this, but it is a collective message, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Use your discernment. Always, always, always. What does the collective need to hear about this situation? Okay. Interesting. Okay. I was gonna say is I was called to the deck. Total side note. I was called to the deck before I tapped into the masculine feminine energy. And what's interesting is I was like, this is a really weird deck. I have other decks of cards that if I knew beforehand that I was going to do a masculine and feminine reading, I would have picked different decks. And so it's just funny how spirit works because this is it, and yeah. So let's see. The first one that came out is Tiger Spirit. Brave and confident. Make yourself stronger, courageous, and hold on. This is worded really weird. Okay. Basically, the message of the Tiger Spirit is to tap into your strength, your courage, and your confidence. That will enable you to maintain your status and dignity in various situations. So, what I'm picking up from this, what came through right away, is for a masculine, especially in this situation, you're being called to step into this type of an energy where it's that solar plexus energy where you're tapping into your confidence and you are tapping into that core strength. and not bravery, basically. I don't think bravery was on there. No. So by tapping into that, that's going to allow you to be in the energy you need to be in to move forward towards your feminine. Um, okay. Nope. All right. Going to elephant spirit. Strength and wisdom. By utilizing your exceptional memory, you can steadily solve your life and social structure. Okay. I don't know how that plays in right now, but it will come through. Then we've got dragonfly spirit. Perspective. Be flexible and willing to change direction if needed to get a broader view of things. Okay, what I'm picking up from that right off the bat is for some of you, from the perspective that you have of your divine counterpart at this time, it may appear to be different on the outside than what's actually going on the inside, or behind the veil, basically. And what I'm picking up from that is like, if you're seeing this person on social media, if you're seeing this person out and about in the world and they appear to be a certain way, and that is what is holding you back from moving forward, this card is coming through to say shift your perspective a little bit, or allow yourself to soften on that perspective. Don't jump to conclusions based off of what you're seeing from the outside. Don't allow that to stop you from moving forward in this connection. And we are going to tap into the tarot a little bit and get hmm these want to jump. This is a very this is an energy that's very, very intense. That's a good way to put it. It's very fast moving. It's very it's kind of that there's that nervousness, anxiety, but it's not in a bad way. It's in that like, I hope I say the right thing. I hope I do the right thing. I hope I show up, and my hair's not messed up. Like, it's that kind of anxiety when you're in your head a little bit because you want to make a good impression. Um And then there's also, like, a kind of like a giddy energy. That'd be the best way I could explain it. But it's very, it's like excited, but nervous at the same time, which, is expected in this type of an energy because it's, yeah, like this is, divine counterpart, man. Like, this is the holy grail of relationships when it comes to romantic relationships. Um, you have both of those? All right. Anything else? Anything else for now? Okay. So I'm just taking those top two herds. Right, so we're taking that one. Ah, that feels like it might be part of this. Not all of these, though. That's a lot. Is the Emperor part of this? Okay. Okay, okay. All right, give me just a minute. I'm going to tap in because I'm feeling some different threads of energy. So let me get grounded and get a handle on this. Give me just a second. Okay, so what I'm picking up is I've got a couple threads of energy here. We've got the masculine energy, we've got the feminine energy, and then we've got kind of the energy in the middle, or the recommended like course of action, basically. Um, and I'm feeling guided to say this for some of you. This could be the masculine and the feminine within yourself that is coming into balance right now. So that is also some of these divine masculine, divine feminine readings can actually be talking about the internal aspects of what's going on within the self. So it's not always about two different people and all of that. For a lot of you, I am picking up that this is like physical, literal two different people, but there is a few of you that are watching that this is the internal aspects of the self. And for some of you, it can be both as well. Um, so what is going on right now is masculine. You're in this energy where you're really working on embodying the emperor energy. Emperor energy is the energy of all of the kings in the tarot. So it's basically all of the elements. You've got all of the elements balanced. So that is the mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional elements are balanced. You're really embodying this confident, strong leader. And you're being well, you're really in this energy. So you've probably been hermiting for some time. Um with the hermit card here. An owl could be significant for somebody, as well as cats. Um, the hermit energy really is where you're taking time away from it's really like that going within energy. It's and sometimes the universe will put you in hermit mode where all of a sudden you're like you feel sometimes you can feel disconnected from the outside world and it pushes you into a hermit phase. Um and then sometimes, we choose to go into hermit phase because there's so much going on externally that we're like, okay, we need a damn break. We're going to take a step back and sift and sort through this in hermit mode so that we can come up with our own conclusions and find our own compass, our own North Star is what I just heard. Um, oh my gosh, I just heard this and that's really cute. For some of you, masculines, your feminine is your North Star. So that's cute. Okay. And then you've also got the Fool out here, and the Fool is the goodness. Okay, there we go. The Fool is really that leap of faith where you're going in blind. And you're just trusting the universe. With the imagery on this card, it's like literally, so this is she's a witch on a broom at the ledge and it's overlooking the ocean and she's getting ready to just like jump. And that's really I feel like that's the energy that you're currently in. Like you've done a lot of work in hermit mode and you're ready to take this leap. And there could be some fears and insecurities coming up right now. And the message here is to do your best to work through them. And sometimes you just got to like do it anyways. So even if you're like, well, what if, my feminine does this or says this or, all that worry energy. And the message here is once you just take that leap and you move forward, it's your, mm, what's gonna happen when they take the leap and move forward, Spirit? Because it just blanked. Okay, so what I'm hearing is for a lot of you, there's so many different threads of energy that the next part of that statement is going to vary for a lot of you. The thing is that what Spirit wants you to focus on is not what's going to happen after you take this leap. What Spirit wants you to focus on is taking this leap and allowing yourself to just jump, basically, and just do the thing that is scaring you right now. Obviously use your discernment. Just throw that out there. Um, this is one of those like obviously don't go jump off a 10-story building, right? Like that's okay. Um, the thing that's causing some of that anxiety within you right now because of this, what will they say? Maybe for some of you, it's been a very long time since you've connected with this person. And so there's a lot of this like, would this person even like me now? Would we get along now? Have I been romanticizing this entire thing this entire time? And we're gonna, I'm gonna move forward and reach out to this person and they're gonna reject me. something of that nature. And spirit wants you to know that regardless of what happens, it's this process that is necessary for you right now to get out of this energy and to move forward and to really step into this next phase of life. With that, we've got the Magician and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. And so with this, the Magician is, he's got all the elements right there. He's got all the tools at his disposal. It's not a gender thing. Just saying that for ease. Um, there's everything available to you at this time to craft and build and create the life that you desire. And so you just get to be brave enough, and that's, hey, there we go. There's the tiger spirit. You get to be brave enough to step into this and own all of that. And with the Wheel of Fortune here, um, the main thing is there's change. There's big, big change coming in. And the message that I'm being called to read it a little bit out of the book. So it says this card won't help you make the decision, but it does remind you that fortune favors the bold. And that really brings me back to this tiger spirit here because that's that bold, brave, confident energy. And so the message here is once you step into this confident energy, once you really understand the fact that you are a magician, that you do have the ability to craft and create the life that you want and you desire, that you are worthy of it, that it is possible for you. The wheel is turning. And for a lot of you, I'm picking up that this is a very, very positive card. This carries a lot of like positive changes, changes that you've been wanting for a long time. Um, then the message here says, if you don't choose, the universe will probably choose for you. So that's also part of it too, is this is where you're being invited to be a conscience creator and manifest your own reality in the way that you want it. And so with that, maybe study some manifestation tips and tools. Abraham Hicks is wonderful. There's lots of other manifestation, people out there that really, help and explain it in a way that's very, very practical and useful. Abraham Hicks just happens to be the one that I study a lot. But if you guys have other teachers, definitely let me know in the comments below because I'd be interested in that as well. And we can always help each other out in the comments. So just keep that in mind. So for the other part of this reading, this is more of where the feminine energy is coming in. And so for the feminine in this situation, you are in a very tempered energy. And what this is this is very balanced. This is very much like she's got one eye open, one eye closed. So she's got one eye looking out and externally, and then she's got one eye closed looking internally. Again, it's not a gender thing. I'm just, using the pronouns for ease. Um, it's very balanced. It's very like even on here, there's carrots and water on this side, there's a martini and cupcakes on this side. There's um it's that very balanced energy. It's kind of like that. Oh, what is it? It's a universal law. It's like the law of is it moderation? Balance? It's something of that nature where it's like, just be mindful of how much you do something, that kind of concept. So for the feminine, you're very much in this balanced energy. You've done a massive amount of inner work and you're just balanced. What I'm picking up for a lot of you is you're just kind of, well, yeah, high priestess. So you're in this high priestess energy, which is a period of waiting, but it's also a very it's like a spiritually, it's a very elevated, advanced type of an energy. It's very much this like you've accepted, at least to the point that you're at in life now, you've accepted and started to really understand who you are, all of your abilities, and really I just heard like shadow work. So for a lot of you, you've been doing shadow work. For a lot of you, you are at the point where you understand that shadow work, it's cyclical. It's not something that you do once and then you're done. It would be nice if it was. But it's, it's cyclical. It's that the spiral. You do a little bit and then you integrate and then you come back and you do some more shadow work and then you integrate and then you kind of, you've got to keep it moving though. Sometimes we can get stuck in shadow work. So for some of you, if you're stuck and you've been doing just nothing but shadow work, take a break. Take a break, integrate, and allow yourself to enjoy life and live life from the place that you're at right now, because healing is a journey. It's not a one and done. It's not something that you're like, okay, I'm going to heal everything right now and then be done. Um, and sometimes that type of an energy can keep you stuck to where you're just constantly doing more and doing more and more healing, and then you're not actually living life either. So that's a little side note for somebody. For a lot of you, what I'm picking up though is that you've come to this point where you've realized that this is the journey. That is the journey. Okay, confirmation. Um, and there's a lot of air moving. Okay, total side note. Well, moving on, I guess. There's a lot of air moving, and when that happens, somebody wants to speak to somebody else. Oftentimes, there's a difference between like confirmation, energy moving, and then this is the energy where somebody really wants to come forward and communicate. Um, if that is resonating with you, definitely make those make those moves. Um, I want to talk about that. Okay, I'm being called to pull one of these. There's more that wants to come out, but it's like I can feel a lot of energy, but it's not flowing. So, oh, okay. That's for a lot of you, that's the block that you're moving through right now, is the fear of moving forward and communicating. Because right when I was talking about that, it just like the energy stopped for a minute. It didn't stop, but mm, it's hard to explain. Being able to discern the energy got funky and wonky and kind of slowed down or kind of blocked a little. And what that's telling me is that for those of you who are feeling called to move forward and communicate, but you haven't been, that block is releasing for you right now. So continue to allow that to release. Continue to step into your confidence. And when you step into your confidence and you really, just kind of get into that, brave type of energy where you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. That can actually dissolve the blocks. So that's another kind of like side note for somebody where if you're like, I need to work through this block so that I can move forward and communicate, understand that you can go at it from a different way, and you can just focus on communicating, and instead of looking at all of like well, what if they've moved on, what if they've this, what if they're gonna reject me, what if they're blah blah blah, and it's all that like kind of like worst case scenario energy. If you've been focusing on that a lot lately, do your best to shift it and get into the energy of like, well, what happens if this person receives me? What happens? That sounded really weird. Um, what happens if this person is just so excited to hear from me? What if this person is, what if they've been sitting there waiting for me to reach out and they're just so excited and relieved that I reached out? What if they, are exactly on the same page as I am? What if, they've healed and come to a place where we can really start fresh and start new and move forward? um that right there, that can shift the energy and that can really pull you into this more relieved energy where, yeah, where you step into more of this emperor, where you're more balanced, and you can take that type of an energy and then just move forward. And for some of you, divine timing is at play here. That is a big part of this, especially with the Wheel of Fortune out here. Divine timing is at play, and the thing to know about that is like the divine timing is now. Um, the cycle, like the wheel of time has come back around to, it's like a perfect energy to reunite with somebody. And again, this doesn't have to be somebody you've like physically met in this incarnation, although for a lot of you, I am picking up that thread of energy. There are some of you who are picking up the energy of somebody new coming in. This is more of a feminine energy that I'm talking to now. You've been picking up on a new thread of energy, basically like a new soul connection that's coming in, and it's exciting. And there's also a sense of familiarity with it. And with that, that's because it's a soul connection. This is somebody you've done past lives with. Um, and when you meet this person, it's gonna feel familiar. Um, yeah, yeah. I just felt the energy of like when you meet somebody that you've done previous lifetimes with, especially in a divine counterpart type of situation, and it's intense. And I have been asked before, like, how do you know? Um, like, how will I know that this is the counterpart? Especially after so many karmics and this and that and the other, and all of that, you'll know. Like, you'll feel it. It's it's a soul recognition. I it's hard to explain, but you'll know. Um, Another way to know for sure if it's a divine counterpart, or um a serious soul connection, is if you are in separation from somebody, and like let's say you've been in separation from them for years and you randomly find yourself drifting off and thinking about them randomly. It's like that one you can't shake. It's that kind of an energy, and that's often indicative of a soul connection. Uh the karmic partners, they can feel exciting, and there's an addictive component to it. Um, like a physical addictive component to it within the body. Um, Especially when it's like super toxic and it's back and forth and it's up and down and it's, very dramatic. That causes an actual chemical response in the body. Um, and so that's more of like, if you feel a connection or a pull to something like that, then that's kind of a sign that there's healing to be done. If it wasn't super, it's like, because the thing is too, okay, apparently somebody's asking me for me to explain this, so let's get into this. Um, how you can know is, one, you can just ask. Okay, straight up. Like, it's literally that easy. So you just ask your spirit guides, you ask, angels, ancestors, the divine, God, source, whatever it is that you work with, you just ask. And just like, is this my divine counterpart? And oftentimes you'll get a knowing. You'll get like you'll get lit up with your energy, or you can ask for like signs. And you can get specific with it. Like, if this is my divine counterpart, um show me a red-tailed hawk within the next 24 hours. Now, if you don't live somewhere where you see red-tailed hawks regularly, ask for something different. Maybe you live somewhere where you can see a cardinal right now. Maybe you live somewhere where you can see, oh shit, um, a crow. Saw a crow. Something of that nature. Make sure it's something you want to ask, and you don't have to get that specific with it either. You can just be like, give me a sign that's going to be pretty obvious that it's a sign. Um, but you can also ask for it to be specific, show me a squirrel within the next 24 hours. Something like that. Or you can ask, for different confirmation. Maybe you get dreams, maybe you get very vivid dreams. So you can ask for your, confirmation that way. And then also you can just ask and just be like, please give me the confirmation if this is a divine counterpart or if this is a high level soul connection. And just, be keep your eyes out. Don't like look for it per se. Be open to it though. And so this is where, you ask and then you release. And then you're scrolling through your phone and then all of a sudden you come up on some content that pops up that's not normal for your algorithm. That's like, divine counterpart or whatever. You know what I mean? Like something that's like, oh, yep, this is. Or maybe it pops up and it's the opposite, like how to get over your toxic ex or something. I don't know. It's just, be use your own discernment with it. Um, and with this, there's gonna be there's some suggestions coming out in these cards here on how to navigate that. Um, the main thing is though, especially if this is somebody you've been in separation with, and then you're like, is this a divine connection? Is this not? Is this a karmic connection? Because sometimes those connections can mimic each other, especially at first, especially if it was a connection that like never got off the ground fully, something of that nature. It can be like, is this a karmic thing that I'm still learning lessons from, or am I feeling the pull to this person because there's something more going on? There's a soul connection, there's something of that nature. Um, Ask for sure. Definitely ask. And then also, if you've done things like, you've done cord cutting and you've gone into, the relationship and really moved through a lot of the lessons that you learned in this, maybe you had an encounter with this person that was short-lived, and you've gone through all of that and as much as possible, and you've really transmuted and healed, everything that you feel like you can from that connection, and then they still pop up in your energy. That's a sign that it's a divine counterpart. And I do want to say I do understand it because it can be kind of crazy making when you're not sure. And you're just like, am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Am I losing it a little bit? Am I being affected by nefarious stuff? Like, what the hell is going on? It can be very confusing like that. Um, the thing to know is that you are going to get the clarity soon. That just came through. So Spirit's coming through in this message to let you know that you will be getting the clarity soon. If you are unsure, reach out. And see, okay. Do we really want to get into that, Spirit? All right, I'm being told to get into it, so here we go. Okay. With these types of um, dynamic, the common thing out there right now is if you're the masculine, and this isn't a gender thing or a sex thing, if you embody primarily the masculine energy, or if you embody primarily the feminine energy, there's different recommended actions to take for both. So if you embody the masculine energy primarily, then you are going to be recommended to step into your active chaser energy. And so now is the time for you to embody that energy and to step into your masculine and go get your feminine. For the feminine, you're going to be recommended to be patient, to be open, be receptive, still focus on yourself, still focus on your life, still transmute your energy, do all of that, and then you allow. And so you focus on making yourself as magnetic as possible to pull in your divine masculine. Okay, so that's what's going to be recommended. That's good advice. That's good recommendation. That is how the different energies work. The thing is, we all have both masculine and feminine energies within us. And so, in my opinion, and this is going to go against a lot of the content out there right now, but it is what it is. I'm being guided to share this with you. So, if you are the feminine and there is somebody that you have had your eye on or that has come up in your thoughts a lot or something of that nature, and it is driving you absolutely insane not knowing, and you're just like, am I crazy? Am I this? Am I that? Is this what's going on? And it's really taking away from your ability to show up in your feminine energy, basically. And it's really because that type of energy is it's ungrounding, which is funny because I've got ground and center out here. It's very ungrounding. It's very draining, and it's not really a place of it's not really conducive to being open and magnetic and pulling that in. So if you need to, and this is going to vary depending on what journey you're on, what part of the journey you're on, so on and so forth. So take this next part only if it resonates. But for some of you, what I'm picking up for the feminines especially, if you need permission to contact this masculine, I'm giving you your permission. I'm giving you your permission slip. Contact your masculine. Here's the thing. What you will be told by a lot of other people is that if you do that, you're going to mess up this connection and you're going to interfere with the connection and blah 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 blah. Okay, if it's a divine, this is how I look at it. If it's a divine counterpart, if it's a high level soulmate, if it's something like that, by you tapping into your masculine energy and reaching out and breaking the ice, so to speak, I don't feel like that when you're talking about a connection of this magnitude. I don't believe that that one simple act is going to change the entire dynamic of a relationship. I just do not agree with that. Um, and I can tell you from experience, if you step into your masculine energy and you break the silence and are like, hey, are you interested? That can give the masculine a little bit of permission to be like, oh, she is interested. Okay, cool. And then you step back into your feminine energy. So you tap into your masculine energy, you extend a lifeline, and you're like, hey, you know, what's up? Kind of thing. It allows the masculine, it can take off some of the pressure. And what's the worst that can do from that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's something that I disagree with in a lot of these types of um readings and suggested ways to navigate these relationships. Um and so, for whoever that is, I hope that helps. Yeah. It- And the thing is too is it's not like just because you tap into your masculine energy for a minute doesn't mean that you're going to embody the masculine energy primarily for the rest of the relationship just because you dipped into it for a minute. Like that doesn't to me that just doesn't make sense because relationships ebb and flow. Relationships are fluid. Relationships are they change over time. And there's times when one person is more on their masculine, one person's more on their feminine, and then it can shift and vary depending on what phase of life you're in, depending on all sorts of things. I mean, it's all sorts of things. There's times when, you're in a committed relationship and the masculine gets injured and you need to pick up, the feminine needs to pick up a little bit of the slack when it comes to finances or something like that, providing, so to speak. I mean, there's all sorts of different ways these relationships work and ebb and flow and move through these types of energies. You're not always going to be in your feminine energy only. You're not always going to be in your masculine energy only because you're not balanced within yourself. You're not in this temperance energy within yourself. And so, yeah, there's just my little random tangent. Anyways, we're going to get back to the message over here and let's see. So we've got ground and center. Um, with this, basically, it's just recommending for you to get outside, get in nature, do some grounding exercises, center your energy. Um, yeah, really pull it in. Especially because I just went off on like 5 tangents. I'm following this energy, and so it is there is an element to it that is ungrounded. And so when you ground that energy in and you pull it down, it will be easier to work with. We've got rebirth and rejuvenation. Let me make sure there's no nudity. Okay. Oh, there's little sea turtles. Okay, so we've got sea turtles, dolphins, and a cat on this one. And it's also the element of water. So this is going to be in your emotional center. Rebirth, not rejuvenation, reinvention. Rebirth and reinvention. Okay. I will look at that one here in just a moment. We've also got meditation for creativity. This is in the element of fire. Um, mm, 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 mm. Hmm. Okay. And then we've got listening to wisdom. And this is one where the crow is on here. I'm gonna take a peek. Oh, this is a long one. All right. It's all good. If you're still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mm. All right. So for rebirth and reinvention, I'm going to show you the card again so you can see if there's any other messages on there for you. Okay. Think about all the major shifts your life has taken over the years and how you have changed from where you started out because of them. Are you happy with the person you are now? Put a candle in a cupcake and celebrate who you turned out to be. If you're not happy with the person you are now, put that candle in a cupcake anyway. When you light it, vow to rebirth yourself and become your best possible you. This card is indicating one of two things. Either you are in the midst of or just coming out of a big shift, in which case it's time to celebrate your rebirth, or you are overdue to reinvent yourself, and this card is a push in that direction. Have you been wavering on the cusp of making a substantive change? This card may be telling you it's time to go for it. Okay, so I am picking this up that this is going to be for, take it if it resonates, but this is definitely that call of like, it's time to take some action. Um, Again, quick side note, right when I started this reading and was like, okay, it's a divine masculine, divine feminine reading, I got this knowing basically that it was going to get a little gruff. And here we are, we're at the gruff part. Um, Pull yourself out of this wishy-washy, going in circles energy. Um, what's the worst that's going to happen? And that's another way you can kind of approach these situations too, is like, what's the worst that's going to happen? You get rejected. The person that you thought was interested in you isn't. Maybe they forgot who you were. Maybe they don't even remember you from the past until you jog their memory. The thing is, that's a part of the next phase for you. And I know that's not really what you want to hear. Like, you want me to tell you it's going to be rainbows and roses and perfect and wonderful. But the thing is, like, it's fluid. We're all like, we all have free will. It's going to be different for everyone. The thing is just understand that the worst case scenario is that you're rejected. The worst case scenario is that, like I said, the person, for you, you've been feeling like it's this way, and then you reach out, and then that person is like, bro, I don't even know who you are, or something like that. Like, that's, what we would term a worst case scenario in this situation. That's not that bad. Is what's worse, sitting in this head spinny energy and pulling on the other person's energy and like are they going to reject me? And what if they do? And no, 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 no. Like, then you pick your damn self up and you move on and you learn your lesson through it. And ultimately, you're not sitting in this miserable ass energy where you're sitting there getting head spinning and, oh, what if, what if, what if, what if, and just draining your energy on a regular basis. Do the thing. So, damn, spirit. I knew we were going to get gruff, but that got a little more gruff than I was anticipating. So, with love, do the damn thing because you will feel so much better regardless of the outcome. Okay. Well, I feel like we could just end the whole reading right there. We're not going to. We're going to go into these last two cards. But, um, all right, there it is. All right, Spirit. Well, Zam. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, all right. Here we go. Meditation for creativity. Do something creative. It doesn't matter what. Write a poem or a spell. Don't worry, they don't have to rhyme. Paint a picture, throw a pot, or knit something. Whip up something wonderful in the kitchen, or rearrange a room so it feels more peaceful or looks more beautiful. Don't tell yourself you don't have time or talent, just do it. More than that, do it with purpose, mindfully, and with appreciation. Really feel the creative process and how it nurtures your spirit and keeps your inner fires burning. If you've been feeling stagnant or grumpy, maybe this card is trying to tell you you aren't devoting enough time and energy to the creative part of your nature. After all, work is important, but we all need to balance it out with moments of play. Take a moment to look at the card and ask yourself, what am I doing to feed my soul? This is also, I just had a vision of the sacral chakra, which is where our creativity center is. The sacral chakra is in between the root and the solar plexus. The root is at the base of the spine, and the solar plexus is at the belly button, so the sacral's in the middle. The sacral governs the reproductive organs, the reproductive system. The sacral also is the seat of our creativity. The color is orange. So work with any of those because really this is activating that sacral chakra, and that's where your passion also sits. And so really tap back into that passionate energy at this time because that's going to help you move through this and navigate your way through this entire process. Awesome sauce. All right, listening to wisdom. This is the last one, and let's see what's the recommended action here, Spirit. Go somewhere where you can be quiet. If you're staying in your own house, turn off the phone, TV, anything that makes noise. If it helps, you can dim the lights as well or go outside after dark and sit under the moon. Sit by a body of water if there's one nearby. Then just sit. Don't do anything. Confirmation. Quiet your mind as much as you can and ask, is there anything I need to know? Then listen to see if you get an answer from within or without. This card is telling you you're missing something, whether it's someone close to you, the gods, or just your own inner wisdom trying to tell you something important with or without putting it into words. It's time to shut up and listen. Okay. All right. So listen. And that kind of goes in, with that whole like ask. If you ask and then give yourself the time and the space to listen, your answer will come through. And whatever else, the missing pieces of the puzzle right now that are keeping you stuck are also going to be made clear. So get quiet, get grounded, and listen and tap into your sacral energy, your sacral chakra, and allow yourself to tap into that passionate energy as well, because that's going to help you also transmute some things and really shift through some blocks. So for some of you, maybe I just randomly heard this. Maybe you used to write songs. Just, write a verse, write a chorus, doesn't matter. What it is, but just, write. If you used to paint, pick up a paintbrush and paint, even if it's your kids watercolors or something, just paint for the sake of painting. um I give this advice to a lot of clients of mine that are really working on inner child healing, and I tell them to get a coloring book and to color. And it's what you're doing is you're tapping into that creative energy without putting the pressure on yourself. So it doesn't need to be something, you're not writing a song that's going to be released and recorded by, a major celebrity. You're just writing for the sake of writing to tap back into that energy. It's really to get that energy moving again. And then with that, also listen. And the thing is too is oftentimes when we're in that creative space, we are listening. And so that's another way you can listen as well, is do your best to, like this card said, get quiet, just sit, be open and receptive and listen. If that's really, really difficult for you, doing something creatively is also another way to open yourself up and to listen, because when you are in that creative space, you're actually channeling your divine energy. You're channeling your pure source energy at that point. And you are, how many times, for my creatives out there, how many times have you created something and you look back and you're like, I can't believe I did that. Like, I did that. That's pretty cool. Like, I didn't know I had those abilities. And it's because you're tapping into your pure source energy and you are creating with it. And so that's another way to really tap in, to quiet the mind and to open yourself up to receive insight that can help you really shift and navigate through this next phase of life. For a lot of you, I'm feeling that you're overthinking this, and you're going to feel so much better when you just get a little more balanced and just make that move. Okay, well, with that, before this gets any longer, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. If you're still here, thank you so much for listening. I really, really hope that this helps. If this is your message, please let me know in the comments below. I also love getting the confirmation that my messages are reaching those that they're meant for. So definitely let me know, please. And if you like this video, you can hit that like button. If you have not yet and you would like to see more messages from me, you can hit that subscribe button. It is free, it doesn't cost anything. And again, thank you so much for all of your support, your donations, and for, your time and your energy. I really, really do appreciate it. And thank you, thank you, thank you. So I will see you on the next one. Bye.